Hi, I'm Dave Karger. Welcome back to TCM as we continue the first night in a two-part spotlight on trans images in film. Earlier this evening, I was joined by our special guest, Willow Caitlin McClay, who helped me present two films that are discussed in her book with Caden Mark Gardner called Corpses, Fools, and Monsters, The History and Future of Transness in Cinema. Caden will join me next Monday night, but in the meantime, up next is another title featured in their book that has an interesting connection to the trans community, even though it doesn't directly include trans representation. From 1958, directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock and considered by some to be his masterpiece, it's Vertigo. Jimmy Stewart stars as a San Francisco detective who's forced into an early retirement by his crippling fear of heights, which was brought on by a traumatic experience on the job. He accepts an offer from an old acquaintance to carry out some informal detective work, trailing the man's wife, who's been behaving erratically. But Stewart's involvement in the case becomes complicated when he falls in love with the woman he's trailing, and his preoccupation with her becomes an obsession. Kim Novak co-stars as the object of his desire, and as you'll see, she plays dual roles. Many of the film's most memorable scenes involve Jimmy Stewart obsessively trying to make one of Novak's characters look exactly like the other. In real life, Kim Novak's appearance and mannerisms served as an important inspiration to the pioneering trans woman Candy Darling. Years before she became one of Andy Warhol's famous superstars in the late 1960s, Darling grew up studying classic movies on TV and identified with the glamorous female stars. As a child, she wrote to Kim Novak, and Novak wrote back, which went a long way toward making Darling feel that her gender was affirmed. From 1958, also with Tom Helmore and Barbara Bel Geddes, this is Vertigo. Vertigo was adapted from a French novel that was published in 1954, and a few years later, when director Francois Truffaut asked Alfred Hitchcock what drew him to the material, Hitchcock answered, "I was intrigued by the hero's attempts to recreate the image of a dead woman through another one who's alive." For his part, Hitchcock had made a career transforming a long line of actresses into his vision of the perfect woman, and he was able to infuse Jimmy Stewart's character with his own personal obsessions. For Hitchcock, the premise of Vertigo was fascinating, but for moviegoers in 1958, the film didn't quite resonate. It was a critical and commercial disappointment, although it did earn 2 Oscar nominations for Best Art Direction and Sound. But in the years since, Vertigo has been completely reappraised, including landing at the top of the highly respected Sight and Sound magazine ranking of the greatest movies of all time in 2012. Up next is a 1969 experimental drama from Japan set in the underground gay scene in Tokyo in the 1960s.
Next on TCM, Funeral Parade of Roses, then The Brood, and later, Cat People. TCM's got 9 lives tonight.